for those that put up with our little pre-chat. But we come on early to make sure everything is going well. And that's why if you tune in early, you'll see that pre-talk, but we don't want to wait till broadcast time and start clicking buttons.
Exactly. And then find out it's not working.
Yeah, we've been there. So
we have been there.
So thank you for your patience and your support as well.
And also, James, I guess this would be a good time. You can tell them that they can go to the Coffee Talk page and please join and share.
Yes, indeed. You can go to we have a Coffee Talk LLC page on Facebook, so you can go to that. I've been sending out invites. It's a new page, so I've been sending out invites, and a lot of you have been responding. But you can go to that page, and a lot of information is there all during the week about what Coffee Talk is doing, and you can also comment. So join us there. We're live every day here on Facebook
Hello.
Live.
Good morning, DeAndre. How are you?
I'm good.
That's good. That's good. Welcome to Portsmouth Coffee Talk.
Thanks for inviting me. How y'all doing this morning?
We're doing well, thank you.
Doing okay, and we'll be in a little while soon.
I want you to know, man, it's going to go down right here on the most talked about show on radio is WGPL 1350 Joy 1350 WGPL 1350.com. We are your praise leaders. Well, I've got the Coffee Talk with the 17th Forum coming up for you right here. But before we do, let's have a word of prayer on today. Father, we thank you for giving us all things. We thank you for to wake up on this morning. Give us a nice Father, we pray on today that you would continue to bless these people on this line on this morning. Continue to give us the information that we need so that we can become better citizens in our community. We thank you for your anointing and your grace to do what you are calling us to do.
Bad connection.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bishop. You during your prayer, you were doing a lot of breaking up, so don't know if that's going out over the air or not. But anyway, we appreciate you opening us up with a prayer this Monday morning. I hope all is well with you, Bishop.
He's already signed off.
Okay, all right. Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good
And I hope
morning.
you're coming through clear on the radio on WGPL 1350. Every day we rise is a great day to be alive. And welcome to the Seven Cities Forums of Hampton Roads presents Portsmouth Coffee Talk. Good morning, host, and of course our host, Leah Drake Stiff.
Good morning, James.
Good morning.
Colonel Chapman. Good morning, host. How you doing?
Good
Let's see
morning.
those coffee cups.
I got to
see
get
those
my
coffee
coffee for this morning.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll represent for everybody here.
Thank you. Thank you.
And this morning we have, okay, thanks. We have as our special guest, we have the Vice Mayor of the City of Portsmouth. His name is DeAndre Bonds. Good morning, Vice Mayor.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on today.
Thanks for getting up
Good
early
morning.
and joining us this morning. And you probably had to get up early this morning because school starts. And don't you have some school-aged children that's starting today?
Yeah, I actually have a younger one that could have went back to school because she's in elementary school, but she didn't want to go because her brother and sister that wasn't going back because middle and high school is not going. So I didn't force her. As long as she's doing what she needs to do in the classroom, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, why do I have to go and they get to lay in the bed? I can completely understand that. Okay, we have our Vice Mayor this morning, and DeAndre, and I'll probably disrespect for your title, but I'll probably be going back and forth with Vice Mayor and DeAndre because I met you a long time ago,
Yeah.
DeAndre, and one of the things I remember from our first meeting was you and Aaron Carter and some other young folks coming together with some of us seasoned seniors to work on what's out there on Portsmouth Boulevard today, the Sportsplex. And, you know, we had been working on it for a long time, and y'all came by with a ball of energy and helped shoot that thing into existence. So we appreciate that. And that was one of our first experiences with you. And of course, I think during that time you had just finished working with Congressman Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, you know, you even had him out there. So that helped boost that effort and everything. So, but Vice Mayor is IC Northam grad.
Yes.
Also,
Yes.
undergrad from Virginia State University. We get a chance to mention another HBCU, but he went and got his grad degree at Norfolk State University. So we right back at
Another
Norfolk.
great institution.
Yeah.
You understand the joke. I'm from Union, and everybody we've had on have been from Norfolk State. So it's like a running joke. So that's why I made that comment. But anyway, HBCU power, you know, we appreciate that. But anyway, DeAndre, you have a hashtag that's from Dale's home to the Vice Mayor. And we all know your story. You know, you told a lot during the time you were running. And so how significant was that, since you use that and that's important in your everyday existence as an elected official, how important was that coming out of Dale's home, how important was that to you in deciding later on to get into politics?
Well, one of the biggest reasons that I use it is because I want to make sure that people that come from places like me, the children that come from the areas like me, they understand that there is a way out and you can become successful. For me, it was important because where I come from, we didn't really have a voice. We didn't have anybody come out of our neighborhoods and ask us what we thought, what issues were important to us. So for me, the background that I had with going to Virginia State, getting my bachelor's in political science, going to Norfolk State, getting my master's in urban affairs, and then working for Congressman Bobby Scott, where I learned so much about politics and learned how to deal with certain situations. I felt like I owed it to the community to actually run for office and be that voice for that community. See, the one thing about politics is that it can't be about you. It has to be about a bigger force than you. And for me, coming from where I come from, I didn't necessarily want to get into politics, but I felt like because of the experiences that I have, the people that I've been around, the connections, that I had to, because if I don't do it, nobody else will, and they won't have a voice. So I had to put my pride to the side and take all the things that came with it, but to be that voice for the community and speak for the issues that they face, which is why I'm happy to be in the position that I am, because it's inspiration to a lot of people. And and the biggest things that I heard that really makes me proud when I'm out in the store or I'm at a football game and they say to me, when you made it, we felt like we made it. So, you know, those are the reasons why. That's why it's important to me to continue to be a voice, continue to speak up for the issues, and continue to say what I say, no matter who likes it or dislikes.
You know, you before you were on the council, you were on the school board, and you decided to leave the school board 2 years earlier to seek office on city council. Yeah, I guess it turned out to be a good move because you were the top vote getter when you ran for council. So how did you know you were ready to make that move before you finished the term on the school board? Because some people might have said maybe you should have stayed and finished that term, that objective, because that's what the people elected you to do for 4 years. And some people say you should have stayed. So what influenced you to, or what caused you to make that move earlier?
So when I ran for school board, I had a 4-point plan, and that was to increase accreditation. It was to make sure that all our staff got raises, make sure that the community got more involved in the process, and also increase career and technical education. And I was actually able to do that. So with that being said, I was also able to visit every school and learn some of the issues and be a voice for our teachers, our students. I believe you do always have to finish what you started, but I believe in the the 2 years that I was on the school board, I did finish the things that I said I started. So I think it was time for me to take that talent to the city council and put some more things in place that will be good for our city. So that was the reason why I moved on. But one of the things that I do know is that in any profession, nobody's going to tell you that if you got an opportunity to go higher, to wait and don't take that opportunity. And for me, it was a good time. Like I said, the community, Portsmouth was in a lot of shambles. We still are, but we're working towards better things. But I thought it was the right time for me to move on and, like I said, be that voice for those who've been voiceless for years.
Yeah, let me ask you one more question, then I'll let the other hosts chime in. And let's talk a little bit about, and this will lead into a lot of other things. Talk about your first few months on the city council, and you and the majority, the whole makeup of the council sort of changed. We have like a six blacks and one white, so like a majority there. So some of the moves that were made, in the first few months was concerning to some people. They were kind of bold and quick and everything. So what was on the agenda going into the first few months as far as making those quick moves like you did, the majority of the council made, as far as one in particular, and I'll say the move with the vice mayor part. Was it something that the former vice mayor wasn't doing that necessitated that move at that time?
Well,
I'll say this. Go ahead.
And I actually took our former vice mayor Lisa Lucas-Burke out to eat, and I wanted to explain to her. So I'm glad you asked me that question. That none of the decisions that I make personally about the other people. For me, what the vice mayor represented, what it coming from where I come from, the inspiration that it would give people, I thought that was something that would look good for a community, again, that I said that's been voiceless for years, to see somebody who comes from where they come from, or a kid that's still out there today, to see somebody come from their area, from their spot, come from their housing complex as the vice mayor of the city of Portsmouth. It wasn't really a thing where I thought she was doing anything wrong. I just thought that I could do a lot better in the position. And I think that with me in the position, this council has been one of the most active councils in recent history. We've gotten a lot of things done, a lot of big ticket issues, especially when it comes to repealing the funding formula for the school board. Like you said, I was on the school board previously, and I know that was shoved down our throats when I was up there. And every person that runs for office, that runs for council, say they want to make sure that schools are fully funded. So I thought that was important for us to do, and making sure that we finally fully fund our school for the 9 years. Because, we always make sure that they meet the budget necessities at the end of this budget season, but that doesn't mean that schools are fully funded. When I was in the school system, I used to visit all the schools, and I visited them numerous times, and they're overcrowded. They're lacking a lot of things. A lot of positions are not filled. And for me, with running a nonprofit organization for youth, doing that for years and fighting for that rec center, it's important that, the kids are a top priority in this city. So, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that that funding formula taken out the place. But, like I said, this council has been very active. I've been instrumental in a lot of those things. Ms. Leah Stiff works for the sheriff's department. Me and Councilman Battle were very instrumental with sitting down with Michael Moore, Sheriff Moore, to make sure that we got the lawsuit taken away from the sheriff department. So, just I think I could be a very good asset, and I think I have been a very good asset at the vice mayor position. So,
Okay, well, first of all, before you go, Colonel, let me just quickly say, first of all, we want to first welcome all the babies back to school this morning. I mean, I'm really excited that the little ones are getting to go back to school. And DeAndre, we're gonna have to cut a little bit short this morning because I do have to be at a school this morning at 8 o'clock. But DeAndre, I wanted to get your thoughts on cooperation and collaboration. Abraham Lincoln often talked about building teams of rivals and how their strengths and shortfalls balances out and it makes a perfect group to work with. So what are your thoughts on collaboration and cooperation?
I think it's needed. You have to collaborate with people to make things happen, and you're always stronger together. The thing is that you have to make sure that you have people who want to cooperate and collab with you. A lot of times, especially in this city, if we don't collab the way someone wants us to collab, then we become an enemy or we become a bad person. But we all have to understand that we all come from different backgrounds and we have different ways to do stuff. And if we can put it together, I think we can be very successful in making our city better.
But how do we break that cycle, that enemy cycle? Portsmouth historically, for a long period of time, we've had this thing, it's us against you. We're over here, you're over there. What do we do to bring the entire community together? Because right now, people go in to listen on Facebook from out of town. And I have friends in Alabama who call me and say, oh, Portsmouth is the greatest soap opera going. What do we do to bring the community together? When can we stop the we versus them? And it just becomes all of us working together for the benefit of the whole.
Well, when I was running for office, and it was a question like this that was sort of answered. Asked, and I think it was that my response was that me and my wife come from two different backgrounds. She comes from Hampton. She came from a lot of money. I came from Portsmouth, Dale's home, not with a lot of money. So ultimately our experiences were different. So we're going to think different on a lot of different matters. But regardless of that, me and her were able to come together and have some beautiful kids, and we have to me, a great union. We're doing a lot of great things together, and I love my wife. And I think that's what we have to look at when it comes to relationships in Portsmouth. Too often, because we do come from different backgrounds and different areas, we look at a person who doesn't think the same way that we think as an enemy. But we have to understand that, our backgrounds make us different, but sometimes the goals that we have make us the same. So it's about understanding the different backgrounds and putting them together to really make Portsmouth a better place. Until we really do that, and until we really understand that everybody are not the same and they have a lot of different ways of doing things, then it won't happen. But I'm encouraged that it will be able to happen, because we have a lot of good people that's getting into office, a lot of and that's old and young, because I know Mr. Oven will tell you that I'm always talking about the older generation, but some of the older generation helped give me the skills that I need to be in the position that I am today, or to do the things that I do today. Like Dr. Daniel, she was somebody who was very inspirational to me. She was one of the first people who believed in me, and so was Miss Marlene Wright, and of course, Congressman Bobby Scott. But I just really think that we really have to put our egos aside and come together and understand that everybody's not going to want to do it the same way. But if we have the right goal in mind, if we have the same goal in mind, we can come together and do the right thing.
Vice Mayor, I guess I'm going to try to summarize what you just said, and what Leah was trying to get to is that we all live in the salad bowl of America.
Mm-hmm.
We have lettuce, tomatoes, and all the other things that you throw in your salad bowl, and we're all mixed up. And hopefully we mix it up and it becomes a good combination. And that's what we talk about, our cooperation. So, but for my question at this time, and you have the story that you have, and it's very commendable, and that all young folks need to look at is where you start does not tell you where you're going to finish. And so you talk about Dale's home to where now you're the vice mayor. And so your race is not done. It's not done. I will tell you that. So, but Slim talked about some of the moves that you did when you first went into the city council. And I have one of the big burning questions that I have, and this is for the other members of the city council, is the when you started to get, when y'all were looking at the city manager's job and fulfilling that position. And I believe Danny Meeks was nominated by you or one of the other ones, and people on the city council. And it's in the newspaper summarized it by, he was the most ill-qualified person to ever run for city council. I mean, for city manager for any city outside of Mayberry. So what made and we all make mistakes, but what made you think that he would be qualified?
Well, for me, first of all, we do have to understand that the qualifications that were set in place were put in place by the former city council. And when we were elected on November the 3rd of last year, Councilman Dr. Whitaker wrote a letter to that was later leaked to the newspaper and also leaked to, sent to us. And I think he posted it as well, that indicated that he was not in favor of the qualifications that were set forth by the previous council. So we actually had a meeting in November that when we left that meeting, we all decided that we wanted to open up the process because we just did not agree with how it was going and the candidates that we had, along with the qualifications that were set forth. So fast forward to January, he was nominated by on one of the other council members. And from the arguments that was put forth on the table and for what I actually know about Mr. Meeks, and the things that's important to me, I know because the educational standpoint was pouring out a lot, and I think we have to be careful because I know when I was on the school board, and I know every school board member afterwards and before would always talk about how we should be pushing our children to CTE programs, but in the same sentence, we're saying that a man who did not go to college, who was able to turn trash into $1 million, who's able to run a $30 million business a year, is not qualified. So what is the message that we're sending to our children? This city, in my opinion, needed somebody who was able to turn trash into $1 million. And that was what I was looking at. Now, the process continued on, and as we continued the process, we found some more candidates that applied. And I was a very heavy proponent of Sunshine Swenson, and she came out of the interviews as one of the leaders amongst many council people. But I just think that some people say some people have certain qualifications, but we've had the people with the degrees running out, being city managers. We've had the people with the degrees or the experience being our city manager, and yet we was looking for a new city manager. And we all can agree that the previous ones weren't doing that as best as we would like them to do. If not, if they was, we wouldn't be looking for one. But I think we have one now. I didn't vote for her, but because I really believe Sunshine Swenson was the right choice. But I'm ready to work with her to help change this city, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of the great things that she'll be able to do.
Thanks for the explanation. But I will have to follow up and say that, yes, there is something for experience and education. And just because you run a singular sector business does not make you have the experience to run and to push this city forward to where it is. and there's that's the thing in Congress, and we have just had this this joker as a president that he was a big businessman, but he was a failure. And so being a businessman or a woman does not make you a good leader. So saying that is a, can you address?
Let me jump in and say something about what you just said. So, you know, I think we all can agree that experience has gotten us in Portsmouth in the mess that we've in today. And if I think Portsmouth was looking for, and especially the citizens, we're looking for the more experienced candidates or the most experienced people, then you probably wouldn't have me sitting here in front of you talking to you as the vice mayor today. Because experienced politicians, experienced city managers have gotten this city in the crap that is in today, especially with the lawsuits and all the issues that this city has. So for me, you know, it's time for a breath of fresh air, some new people to come into power in this city and change it the way we need it to be changed. Because a lot of the times we are picking people, especially the generation that I'm not in, are picking people for today instead of picking people for our future in this city.
Yes, and you're correct. We need change. Change is always good, especially if it's going to move us forward. And so that is a true statement.
But DeAndre, do you think that it's not so much that the individuals who were here before were experienced and they led the city down the primrose path? Do you think it's more so the fact that people were not working together? I think that was the problem more so than whether a person was experienced, had the education. It was the lack of cooperation. It was the lack of people coming together to work towards a common goal. And that stifles a lot of things. When you look at Congress now, you look at how Joe Biden is trying to move in one direction and Republicans are pushing in another direction. And the two chambers, the House and the Senate, can't come together because, and it's not due to their experience, it's not due to their lack of leadership, it's due to the fact that they just can't cooperate and work together. And I think that's been the problem with Portsmouth, not so much about who the leadership was, because we did have people who were very much qualified, but it was the fact that folks couldn't come together and work together.
Well, in some ways you're right, but at the same time, I've been able to, from my experience, I've been able to work with those who I didn't necessarily agree with to get certain things done, as well as those who I did agree with. And I think that you have to look at who was in office. You can't take that away because at the end of the day, those were the ones who weren't working together. There's some young people that I don't agree with, but I'm able to work with them. So, you know, that does lead to the fact that it could be one, generational, and two, who is in office.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just think we have to just understand that although we don't agree with everything around a person, there's some things that we can come together on common ground. I think when it comes to pushing certain issues like recreation for our kids, when it comes to pushing education for our kids, or even some things regarding public safety. I know you're in public safety. There's things that we can get done, because even when you look at Congress, there's people in the Democratic Party that don't agree with President.
I agree with you totally. Yeah, I agree with you.
Because on the issue of the 60 votes, you had one
holdout making it bad for everybody.
Yeah, so you know, I think that's the way. I think, but like I said, I do think it has to do with the people who were in office.
And what about respect?
Let me step in.
Where we I'm sorry, James. I'm sorry.
Let me step in for a minute because we start at 6:57, and at 7 o'clock we'll have to be leaving the radio station, but we'll continue on Facebook Live. I want to thank all the listeners on WGPL 1350 AM for joining us this morning with our special guest, Vice Mayor DeAndre Bonds. And I just wanted to say that so when the bishop comes in and ends the radio pod, we can continue our conversation doing that. And DeAndre, I think what was said, one of the things we have to do is put aside a lot of the pettiness that has been going on before your elected office. You know, been going on in the city of Portsmouth for a long time, and it's continuing on. and we all see some of the pettiness and put the businesses at hand first, because it sort of stifles us,
Mhm.
trying to get things done. But let's get into the budget a little bit, DeAndre, because one of the things that's probably enlightening in the budget is, and you're a proponent of education, is it's an increase in the funding that the city council is proposing for the school board.
Yes.
Do you see that as being enough to do what and let me ask you this first: how do you feel about the funding formula part of this the system? Is that something that's going to continue to work, or does that need to be changed?
Well, that was something I mentioned earlier. That's not in the equation this year, because when I got on the council, I made sure we put a vote on the table to take that away.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So, but because for me, I was never for it, and the reason I was never for it is because, again, when it comes to our kids, and this, Mr. Overton, that's important to me. So we have to fully fund our children, and right now, we've given them most of what they asked for. It's still a $1.2 million decrease in what they asked for, but I think that the council will, at the end of the day, give it to them. We have to have our schools fully funded, but we also have to make sure that we put in place a new school. They need a new middle school. They need to be able to move sixth grade to middle school. We have a lot of kids who are behind when it comes to certain issues and certain things in life, because they're not getting that ability to move up from fifth to sixth grade and be in middle schools like some of these surrounding areas. So you have more advanced kids in some of the surrounding areas are not here. And that's not to say that our teachers are not doing a good job. I just think that we have to make sure that we're giving our kids the same benefits as the other cities are giving them.
And let's move into, I saw on one of your town hall, your Friday meetings, I try to watch them when I can, and we're talking about business. You were talking about we don't need no more 7-Elevens and fast food joints. And I kind of agree with you there, and I kind of disagree with you there. I know because those jobs coming in and the square footage or the less than an acreage they take is designed for them and zoned for them. So no big business is going to come in there, but they are bringing in jobs until we can attract those big businesses. So saying that, how are we rebuilding the Economic Development Department? Because I remember when I was on the EDA, they were fully staffed and they were going to California, going down south and visiting and looking for businesses, going out to, but the staff has been cut in half, and I don't know if they're doing that. And it's kind of hard, everybody's not going to find Portsmouth on the map. You have to go out and promote yourself.
Exactly.
Is the budget going to allow for that Economic Development Department to beef up its staff and be able to go out there and do the things? I know the pandemic slowed them down as well, but that's going to be a necessary part of our bringing in businesses and how successful we are, and moving to the next level.
So to go back to what you were saying, so I was mentioning we don't need any more car washes, storages, vape shops.
Put you on the car wash.
And to me, Portsmouth is landlocked, and we don't have a lot of land. So when it comes to certain opportunities, we need to make sure that we take full advantage of those things. And to go back to what you were saying about EDA, I spoke with Mr. Robert Moore, and their budget to travel is $75,000. I think they need a major increase in that, because when I post certain things, and some of the proponents that have come on and say, I don't see anybody knocking down our doors. Well, for me, I know when I ran for office, I didn't sit at home and have anybody come knock down my door to ask me to vote for them. I had to go to their doors and knock them down and ask for them to vote for me. And that's the same thing when it comes to EDA. They have to be able to go to states where California, New York, or wherever the case may be, and knock down those doors and let them know, hey, we're in Portsmouth, we're worthy of your business. So, I think that this council has to seriously look at increasing their budget, increasing their staff, so that they can make things happen for our city and bring good businesses here and good paying opportunities and things that's going to attract people to Portsmouth. That was my whole thinking about what I did say, because right now we don't have anything unique that'll bring people to Portsmouth. I know when I want to do something, I have to go to another city. When my kid want to celebrate their birthday, we had to go to Apex in Virginia Beach. There's really not anything that I can do in Portsmouth aside from the local restaurants, because I frequent them a lot. District, Yolks on Us, Barron's, things like that. But aside from some of the major restaurants, we don't have any major restaurants. So we have to go to Chesapeake. We have to go to Suffolk. We have to go to all these places. And when you look at a lot of people in Churchland, they frequent Harborview a lot, but we rather have them here, and we rather have people coming here. And I just don't think we have the car washes. And to go back to the car washes, that's a small business thing. We have a lot of small business that are car washes, and to bring some of to have some of these car wash places, the major car washes, come in and take away from them, because when we often argue when we say a business is coming to Portsmouth or whatever the case may be, going to bring 200 jobs, or they're going to bring this, but we're not requiring them to hire Portsmouth people. And at the end of the day, we need Portsmouth people hired, and we need Portsmouth people paying our taxes. So those things like that can help lower our taxes, help our school system, help public safety and things of that nature. But, we do have to make a major investment in our EDA department so that they're able to travel and recruit businesses and bring it here, and also increase their staff. Right now, they're doing a heck of a job with what they have, but, we have to make sure that we give them the full advantages to take so that we can make this city better.
Yeah, and I
Are there
quite
any thoughts on the table about bringing a town center or something to Portsmouth? Because can't even buy a decent pair of shoes, stockings, nothing in Portsmouth. What do we do? I mean, are there thoughts on building a town center of any sort? We don't need malls. Malls are obsolete, I think, now. But what about?
I agree. And to go to what you just said, Portsmouth is in a unique place, especially after the pandemic. We can now see what's not working in other cities
So.
and bring them here. To me personally, I used to love going to the movies because I love the popcorn. Mm-hmm. But I don't think the movie theater will work now when it going straight to the TV now.
That's right.
So I don't think we should put that in place. But there's other things that we can put in place. And to go with your point about the town center, I think it was Virginia Beach. When they put things in their CIP, their capital improvement, they put the infrastructure of a town center in the place. And ultimately, when you're putting things in the CIP, it shouldn't always put you in debt. If it puts you in debt, it should be in debt so you can make money, because it takes money to make money. And what we should do with our CIP is the same thing. We can put the infrastructure in place for a town center, because once we do that, then we'll be able to bring business and it'll make money for us and not just cost us things.
Exactly.
Please, but let me make a little quick commercial break for those who are out there on Electron Land. If you like what you're hearing and like what you're seeing, we at Portsmouth Coffee Talk LLC are seeking donations and also sponsorships, and you can send those to P.O. Box 7664, Portsmouth, Virginia 23707. And you can also reach us at, send us an email and give us some feedback at Portsmouth Coffee Talk at yahoo.com. So saying that, and we was talking about fresh ideas, and Vice Mayor summarized so elegantly what we need to do. And I'm so glad to see you out there as a vice mayor and what you're saying as far as looking for a new way of doing business. And I just want you to keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
And so the other thing is that I know they passed a referendum on the, speaking of new businesses, on the casino. And then as soon as they said we're going to pass a casino, they've come out and says, oh, we're not going to do the hotel. And so whoever was the proponent of signing that contract saying you're going to be, okay, we're going to give you we're going to give you permission to build the casino. It's It feels like we got okey doked again. Can you address that? What say you about that?
If you got okie doke, you did. I mean, to be honest with you, you know, to me, and I've told everybody, I've said it on my weekly town hall, that I think the contract is a horrible contract when it comes to a lot of different areas. And they're promoting the casino with the hotel. And the way that it works is they have to make certain financial obligations. So for instance, in the first year, they have to make $175 million. If they don't make that, they have to make 250 in the second year, and so on and so on. In 4 years, if they do not make the financial obligations that they've set forth, and just to be clear, all of this was set forth simply because Norfolk was getting a casino too. Whoever was set at the table and was okay with them negotiating that, coming in and telling them we're going to do all of this because of Norfolk, to me, I thought that was a bad decision. But if they don't build it in 4 years, then we can find somebody to build the hotel. But my opinion to that is this: if they didn't build it in 4 years, why would I come in and do it?
Yes.
And you know, the people will take especially the casino people, and listen, I'm not mad at Rivers Casino. I just want to get that straight. If I had a chance to make a deal like that, hell, I would have done it too. But but my job is to look out for Portsmouth people. And you know, I don't think when the decisions were made with that you know, they were looking out for Portsmouth people like they should. And you know, Mayor Glover said in the meeting that you know, the contract is not perfect, and I get everything can't be perfect, but in Portsmouth we damn near need everything to be perfect, because
Yes.
we can't fail with this casino. You know, for me, I have to hope that it passes, but I know the only thing that we could do now is really deny the use permit. But you know, I'm not sure how the full council feel about that. I know what I feel about that. I really feel that in order for us to succeed, we need that hotel, because and there are other places where they have casinos. There, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, a place in New York. They all have hotels that's already there, so they can afford to not do it. In Portsmouth, we don't have the hotels, we don't have the attractions. That casino won't, because there's a difference when it comes to tourism. It's an attraction and a destination.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the attraction, nor are we a destination. And I don't think that casino will make us the attraction when you have Norfolk or when you have Richmond get one and they have so much around. Who's gonna fly in to Norfolk and skip the casino or the things to do in Virginia Beach and Norfolk to go through the tunnel to come to Portsmouth, when all they can do is literally go to the casino? There's nothing else. And we have the Renaissance, but that's so far from the casino. And you skip so many things to do in other cities before you get here. We have to stop legislating as if Portsmouth is already a destination for people. And I think that's been one of the biggest issues. We're hanging our hat on this casino, and they're coming in pieces. They're trying to do things in pieces. They're trying to protect their financial benefits, and I don't think we're doing that with the deal that we made.
Well, speaking of the deal, so we have Hampton has Rosie's is up and running.
Right.
And we looked at the statistics and saying the outflow of what has the city of Hampton's made during that time. And so you can make a conjecture and saying, well, it's the money is going to be diluted out over 3 different cities. And is it going to be less likely to meet those $250,000 gate, or 200, whatever that gate that you just said? And then how does that deny a permit work? And can you use that to your advantage now to either cut your losses before we go down this road that we're not really creating the jobs and not going to get the hotel? It's a lot of nots going to happen. Or do we continue down the road and this dirt road that will never be paved?
Well, I was having a talk with a councilman the other day, and he's in favor of the casino and it coming as is, and he believes the hotel's gonna come. And I said to him, you know, maybe it is, but I don't think it's coming. But but you know, they want to build a casino in Portsmouth for a reason. They could have chose some other places, but they want to come to Portsmouth, and it's a reason. It's because they believe that we are a special place. And with that being said, we have to stop acting as if we are not a special place. Master P once said that if somebody wants to give me $1 million, I must be worth more. So he didn't take that $1 million. So we have to understand that they want to do business here. They came and recruited this area. They want to do it here. So we have to make sure that they do the right things when it comes to coming here. And I think denying that permit to let them know that we're serious about wanting to do the right things and look out for our citizens would help them to do what is necessary to make sure that we get what we need to do. So I'm hoping my fellow councilmen don't look at it as, oh, we deny this permit, they're going to leave and they're not going to come back. But they want to come here. They really want to come here. They put in the work. So it's valuable to them that they get here. So we have to realize how valuable we are. And, you know, the Rosies, really, to me, that's what we're going to have, a Rosies on steroids.
Yeah.
That's really all we are going to have. I'm not sure what the financial benefits it has been to Hampton. But, you know, it's not as a commitment. The infrastructure for their Rosies was already there. They just pretty much put all the equipment in and probably remodeled.
Right.
Yeah. So, and the other thing, you know, a lot of people talk about the $15 million, $16 million that the city could possibly get. So I want to explain to people how that actually works. And I believe it's really about 12 million, and that's in 12. I think it's 12, a little bit close to 13. That goal that comes from that 15 million that actually goes up to the state, and the state has to sprinkle that back down to us. Now, so that's kind of like how the lottery was. We were told we were getting a certain amount of money, but you know how it works, and we get a significant amount more than this. But if we get $45 million a year, and this is an example, if we get $45 million a year from the state, technically we're supposed to get about 60 million altogether because of the 15 million. But the way things are really done is, you know, the state looks at, oh, well, this city is getting richer or whatever the case may be. So we may send them back 36 million, or we may send them back the previous 5 million because we did send you back your 15 million. We just didn't send you extra. So it's that trickle down thing, that the same way of how the like I said, how the lottery works. Yeah, that too. So, you know, I just want people to understand how this really works and don't really look at it that way. And the other thing, you know, they said 30% minority business, but there was a key word, and you learn it very young. It said or small businesses.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with that said, that they don't have to give any small minority business contract as long as they do.
And then too, you have to realize white women are minorities. So
Right.
I mean, you got to take the whole factor. You have to take everything put everything in place there. So
Vice Mayor, let me step in, and normally we're going to have you back because it's a lot more we have to talk about. Normally,
we have to cut it short, James. I know I got to be at the school, but let's just take 5 more minutes, and then I promise you, I know I'm going to be running late, but I mean, I think that this is good information, which is being given out this morning. And DeAndre, I'm just thankful that you chose to be on Coffee Talk. But we can take a couple more minutes, and I promise I'm going to go change into my Dare shirt, and you all continue talking, and this way you're still on Zoom. And then when I come back, then we can end the show. But I think it's good information. And once again, I'm going to say thank you so very much for coming on. I'm going to slip away for a minute, and I hope that we can extend the olive branch for the young to the old, to all of the citizens of Portsmouth. We come together, we stop talking about each other and start working towards the goal of making Portsmouth into the city that it can become. Okay? So Olive Branch extended throughout the community. Are we there, DeAndre?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So James, go ahead, and then I'll stop once I get straight for my morning work. Okay?
Okay, I wasn't ending. I wasn't
Okay.
ending.
15 minutes. We
You
said
know what?
7:15.
I wasn't ending, but anyway,
Okay.
I was just giving them the opportunity. What I was going to say, Vice Mayor Bonds, is I want to commend you one thing for your platform. You made a promise about transparency, and you have really held true to that, especially with your every Friday. You have a Facebook town hall, I guess you say, and you take questions from citizens. And I encourage citizens to tune in every Friday. I don't know if any other council person is doing it, but if they are, do tune into them as well. But I know Vice Mayor Bonds every Friday. And what time is it?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. on his page, and it's open for anybody to answer questions. So, and he also gives information that we don't normally hear, especially with the pandemic. We can't go down to the council chambers and be involved. But when I want to bring you back to this just for a second, it sort of ties in with the Economic Development Department and another commitment for you, because it's always been talked about the fourth floor problems and how it can sometimes stop businesses from coming here because the process can be tedious sometimes, and seem like every year is some kind of proposal for a zoning change, and for businesses to keep up with that. Because I notice every year, maybe the planning committee brings, well, okay, we want to try this zoning issue. And so what are we going to have to do? And no, I work with people on the fourth floor on my commissions that I serve. So, and I commend them for the work they do, but what we have to do to make it, because we talk about it every year, we have to make it easier for businesses to come here, and it seems like it gets more and more complicated. And then you ride through Suffolk and see activity everywhere. And I wonder sometimes, I wonder if they stopped through Portsmouth first and got tired of what they had to go through and say, okay, well, we just go building in Suffolk. So what are we gonna have to finally do to make sure the fourth floor is more accommodating to businesses, but in the same time following our policies and procedures?
Well, I think every council member, every person that has run for office, ran for council, said we need to do this on the fourth floor. We need to get rid of people, blah, blah, blah. But, I think what we have to do is really take action this time. If it takes 2 pieces of paper in Chesapeake to get something done, it should take 2 pieces of paper in Portsmouth to get it done. And to go to what you were saying, there are people who leave the city and go to other cities to do their business because it's just a very big hassle here. For instance, if you open a business and you're leasing a place, you may go almost a year before you can open it. And when you get to that situation, you may be depleted of your funds and not be able to actually, with all the work that you have to put in, all the different certificates and things, or whatever the case may be, you have to put in, the money you have to put in, you may be at a situation where you don't have any more money to open up your business. And now something that could have been beneficial to Portsmouth or successful to Portsmouth, we don't have it now, and we don't get that tax money or the opportunity to support businesses that come around it. So when you see that as an outsider trying to open up a business, you may say, yeah, I'm not going to Portsmouth and risking that all when I can go to Chesapeake and it takes me 2 sheets of paper to get this done. Or, that work, or I go to Suffolk and some of the other places that are getting things open pretty soon. So we have to stop being about talk and about action. And I think that we have a council now that even if in the past they haven't done the action that they said they were doing, they have people on council that gives them that little nudge and like, I'm with you. So let's go ahead and get those things done. So at the end of the day, I think we just really need to do what we say we're going to do, and really push that fourth floor to do what we need them to do so that we can open up good businesses. Well, even with the Wawas, because it's happening on a when it comes to our major bid. It took us 2 years to get that done over some daggone bushes. And and that came from the fourth floor. That should have never happened, and it should never happen again. So we really just need to push the fourth floor to do what we need them to do. And if they don't, then it's probably going to have to be some changes made.
Colonel, I know you want to say something, but let me say it's also important who we appoint to our boards and commissions, because a lot of those processes go through them, especially the planning commission and the EDA and all that. So you have to have progressive thinkers on those boards and commissions, because like I said, the process has to go through them. And if it gets held up there, then that's another issue. So
that's true. And you have to have people that's on those boards and commissions that understand the type of things that the council would like to see as well, so that when it comes to council, it can move through rather smoothly and easy.
Same vision, yeah.
Yep.
Yes, yes. You mentioned Suffolk a lot, and I live out in Suffolk. But Suffolk land-wise is one of the largest cities land-wise in the country, and Portsmouth is landlocked. And so, Vice Mayor, you talked about, I think the crux of it is Portsmouth needs to have a customer-focused type of relationship for businesses that exist and those who want to come here. And maybe it's time that the fourth floor gets shook up, because if they don't have that younger generation and also that forward person that has the same vision that you and your compadres on the city council has, they want to move the new city manager, they want to move us forward, and they're stuck in the old days of way back when, then it's never, the meeting of the minds is never going to happen. And if it does happen, it's going to be the 2-year waits for over a bush, and you'll never get anything larger than a Wawa or a car wash or whatever, which we don't need. And I agree with you, and I wholeheartedly agree with you about these small business. We need something that's going to come in and pay good jobs with benefits.
Yes.
And then so maybe it's time to really look at shaking up the organizational structure. And I don't know who does that. Maybe it's the new city manager. That might be the time to bring her in and says, hey, city manager, you shake up this fourth floor, and we need to march some people out of there and early retirement or go find another job. But they got to be accountable. That's my say so.
Well, one of the things that the fourth floor can't do too much more than what a council will let them. So you have to have council members that are willing to say no to them, and no, we don't want to go there in that direction, or you need to change. Well, the council has the ability to change the policies or the procedures that they conduct themselves in. And maybe in the past that wasn't done, it's kind of overlooked, and they come with, policies. So one of the things, I see Leah's back. So Leah, you can close out, but I want to say to Vice Mayor Bonds, like, we'll have you back. I'm not going to say goodbye. I'm going to say to be continued, because it was a lot more in my notes that I had that I wanted to discuss with you. And I appreciate your openness and your willingness, for one, to come on to Coffee Talk. And we'll schedule something real soon with you to come back and finish some of the other issues that we need to talk about.
That sounds good.
Yes, yes.
Yes, and I want to say thank you as well, Vice Mayor DeAndre Barnes, for joining us on this morning. And I tell you, time seems to go so fast when we have great conversations going. And just as James, I had so many more questions over here that I had wanted to ask. So that will give us an opportunity, if your willingness to come back, for us to discuss further. But one last thing I want to ask you before we cut off is your vision for Portsmouth. Give me your vision.
For me, my vision is this. One, economic development is very important to me. But everything is centered around our children. We have to make a big investment in our children. We have to make an investment in when it comes to education, when it comes to recreation, anything that involves our children, we have to make that major investment. And like I said, economic development, because a lot of the issues that we face in our city with crime, I know everybody always say that it starts in the home, but in a perfect world it does, but we don't live in a perfect world. So, and the children don't get to pick their kids. I mean, the children don't pick their parents.
Mhm.
So what we do, let the children suffer. And when a crime happens today, or when somebody goes to jail, whatever the case may be, the problem didn't start today. It started when they had a chance to choose those lifestyles. So we have to put things in place to make sure that we take care of our children. So education is one of them, but even with their parents, we have to have jobs, good paying jobs. I always say Portsmouth doesn't have a lack of job problem. We have a lack of quality job problem.
Mhm.
And we need quality jobs here so that our parents can take care of their children, so they don't have to go to the streets, don't have to do certain things. A lot of people look at me and say, if he can get here, everybody can. And to me, that's not true. And the reason I say that is because I had a great structure around me. I had some great teachers. I had some great people in the community and my brother, they made sure that I stayed on the right path. Everybody doesn't have that structure. And that is why it's important that we look out for our children, to make sure that we provide that structure and truly be that village, and not just say we want to be a village. We have to truly be that village, because if they're successful, if we have good children, they'll grow up to be good adults. And at the end of the day, a lot of the problems that we have will fix itself.
Okay, James, my things just said I got 30 minutes to get to my school, so.
Okay, all right, so thank you. And that's one of the reasons we have people on Portsmouth Coffee Talk, so you can get to see, they get to talk more in depth about what they're all about. And we appreciate the Vice Mayor for coming on. Like I said, he'll be back. But
Right.
Portsmouth Coffee Talk, we are here to represent our voice.
Our community.
In our future.
Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next week. And thank you again, Vice Mayor Barnes. Have a great day.
Thank you,
And
Vice Mayor Barnes. Thank you.
my co-host, you all have a great day. We'll
Thank
see
you. Y'all have a beautiful day.
All right.
Once again, to the babies going back to school, welcome back to school, babies.
Welcome.
We're looking forward to seeing you.
And the parents, some of the parents.
And the
I know.
parents as well. Parents looking forward to them going. Okay. Y'all be blessed and have a great day.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.